right?
What happens if the government issues digital currency? Like, what does that mean?
Well, digital currency is, right, you're talking about central bank digital currencies.
Yeah.
Okay, and that there's a great deal of appeal because of the fact that it's easy and so on. But it's and I think it'll be done. A lot happens.
You think it will be done?
Yeah. I think it's, but what happens in the digital currency, of course, it's easy to transact and so on, and it'll be like money market funds, I think. The question will be first, will they be able to offer interest? So there's a debate now as to whether they will be interest. If they're not able to offer interest, and there will be a debate, probably they won't be. But then they're not an effective vehicle to hold it in because you'll have the depreciation.
Of course.
You'd rather hold it in a money market fund or a bond, but that's debate. There will be no privacy, and it's a very effective controlling mechanism by the government. What I mean is all the transactions will be known. All transactions done with digital currencies will be known, which is good for illegal activities, getting control of illegal activities, but it also means that the government has a great deal of control.
Everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody, and Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases, and that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it, but we don't have to. But they were unfriendly. And so I told him, we don't want to. Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5.
Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here with another episode of Scriptures on Wall Street. I hope you are doing well. Today I just wanted to talk about, there's a lot of distractions in regards to like what people are going through. We have the wars, we have pretty much an agreement that never was an agreement. And as you know, with the bro investors, as you see, that what you see in the media is really not what it's supposed to be. Have seen this all over modern history. And I'm too young to even know how long this goes back. But I will say that they've been fooling us. I mean, from what I remember for the past 30 years, I have clients that are 70, 80 years old, and they tell me stories that are very similar to what is happening now. And these are some amazing people that have figured a way around taxes, that have built wealth, even ran for office, by the way. And I call them on a personal level just to have some advice. And what they have told me basically is the same thing that goes on over and over again. The media paints a story, and it doesn't matter if it's political, financial, economic goal. They just paint this story with the media. And they literally program us, guys. And we get to believe whatever is in the media as truth. Now, go ahead and put in whatever your mindset is. If you're a Republican, if you are a Democrat, if you're a libertarian, if you're independent, if you get your information from podcast sources or independent journalism, wherever you get it, that message is designed to be programmed. And so as we enter in this track, trace, and control agenda, you're going to start to see these micro-programmingism going on. And it even affects my spouse. Like my spouse is like, hey, did you hear about the energy lockdowns? Did you hear about all these things are going to happen? And I just scrolled through X. I usually go through X just to see what's out there, what they're saying. And they're calling for a stock market crash tomorrow. So I understand why people are scared. I understand if there is. But you know what? When are you not going to panic? When are you actually going to look forward to a stock market crash? Or maybe you live too long. Maybe longevity is so important in your family that we overlook it. Like there's some of you guys that live past 90 years old. So your money has to literally work a very long time. And obviously there's green money solutions. There's solutions I can bring to the table for you if it fits, but we need to have a conversation about this. The retirement age is increasing and your dollars aren't increasing. And what else is increasing is the taxation of your unknown dollars that you're going to earn. There's also a huge, massive problem that's a guarantee. And that guarantee hits when you're at Social Security. Now, many of you that are listening to this, you are not relying on Social Security, but the ones that you actually have the opportunity to have it. Yes, take it. But we need to understand that when we take it, you're literally collecting a welfare check. And you know that you're not supposed to have an income while you're on welfare. And that is actually a fact when you take welfare at 65 or even early at 62, also known as Social Security, because it is a welfare benefit. I want you guys to understand that. And so as we build into these IRAs, as we build into these 401ks, into our SEP IRAs, into all of these qualified plans that you thought were great because Miss Debbie in HR or your tax accountant said, you need to get a reduction this year because you can put 80 plus grand in your SEP IRA. You can put $26,000 in your 401k. You can match your traditional IRA. But guys, what are you doing? What you're doing are basically you're creating like these domino effects, these dynamite effects in your building, in your infrastructure, so that when the 9/11 hits, you don't even know if it's the plane or the dynamite that was installed in the foundation of the actual building. Because it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up. The taxation is such a huge part. And we are getting so distracted with the Epstein list, the Iranian Lego videos, so distracted of bombing, Israel bombing all over the place and saying, oh, we don't have an agreement. We never had a freaking agreement. Are you serious? Like, give me a break. I posted this the other day. As soon as I heard that there was an agreement, 1 Thessalonians 5:3, it says, when they say peace and safety, this guy declared that we're going to have a 2-week ceasefire. I started laughing, like a holy laughter, a discernment. Maybe I'm cocky. Maybe I'm conceited. I don't know. Call it what you want. I don't care. It was discernment at its all-time highest. And I knew there was a verse in there that talked about this because I was discerning. The bro investors were telling us that everything was good, Gucci, okay, ready to roll. And that oil was going to come down and people are going to start getting happier again because we got 2 weeks, baby. We got 2 weeks to figure this out. But I knew that was a stinking freaking lie. That's what Satan does. He wants to feed you temporarily. He wants to feed you an olive branch, the idea, but in all reality, it's a slip knot. And that's how the media is. It will continue to create these ratings. Oh man, we finally got peace. We finally have a working relationship. We finally have a road to salvaging what is going on. Meanwhile, they're increasing our taxation on our retirement accounts. We are getting reminded quickly, aren't we, about what it is to have a bank account that we actually don't own. While all this is going on, there's banks that have situations where you can't even get your money out. Liquidity is still bad. And 1 Thessalonians 5:3, when they say there's peace and safety, the sudden destruction comes. Literally like 2 days. What was it? The next day, or right after the ceasefire started? Israel did what? They straight up bombed, what was it, Lebanon? Yeah, man, it's you can infer your own opinion, guys. I don't want to get into it. I'll start getting upset and emotional, and that's not the whole point here. The whole point is that these things are going to happen, and it shouldn't affect your retirement. You should have an advisor that is cool, calm, and collective, that we prepare for war, we prepare for market crashes, and sure as heck, we prepare for rallies. Like there's going to be sometimes in the stock market that these things are going to just skyrocket. You look at copper, Maybe silver will continue to rise. I still think it'll go 250 because there's a true intrinsic value of silver. But as soon as they keep pumping up that dollar, that silver is going to go down. And for many of you that hold these bars, you have them in an IRA. Don't do it in the IRA, guys. You don't own the IRA. The government determines when you're going to take it out. And if you don't, you're going to get hit with a spike bat, and they're going to penalize you 50% if you don't take your required minimum distribution. Furthermore, these puppies go up and down in value. They're not safe. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you the reciprocal. You bought it because you thought the dollar was going to crash. And yes, it has been for the past 3 or 4 years. It's been going down. We're going to look at the charts. I'm not going to promote hype or anything like that. I'm going to just tell you straight up. Because at the end of the day, I don't care about catering to your feelings. Like, when do we ever have to, like, who said we have to cater to your thought process and your feelings? I don't. And please don't call me if you want some kumbaya advisor. Oh, how was your day? Oh, yeah. No, that's not me, guys. I'm going to speak the truth. I'm going to speak the truth. I'm not here to cater to your feelings. I'm here to protect your money and grow your asset. Sometimes I'm good at it. Sometimes I'm bad at it. I've screwed up in the past. And guess what? People make mistakes. And I sure as heck have. Spiritually, financially, medically. It's all right. We admit our faults and we move on and we learn. You always got to lose. Like, the faster you fail, the better you become. So this weekend, you guys know I'm an adamant hockey dad. I love my son to pieces, sometimes a little too much. I bought a little airplane so I can take him all over Florida to all his games. So he had this USA hockey tournament. And my son actually, for those of you who've been following for a long time, knew that he had a terrible time in public school. He has ADHD. He has a cognitive delay that he's gotten better. He's 13. And now he has, he's on the honor roll. He's on National Honor Society. And his hockey hasn't been improving. So he's been cut from every team. They gave him the nod or the bad nod, the wave, not even nod, but he hasn't made any of these teams except for this one team. But what I love about this one team, it was associated to a Christian private school. And they said, we like the family. We like you, Miss Cortez. We love your son. He's well-disciplined. He's got potential. He's not for us right now, but we want to develop him. So you got to come to our campus and let us tutoring. Like, he is behind academically, he's behind athletically. But if you come to his building more and more and more, get training and do some tutoring with our teachers, in a few years, he'll be ready for us. Well, that few years was last year, and you guys saw that. But anyways, Nathaniel now has almost completed his first year, and he has a academic assistant, basically, that teaches him how to take curriculums and convert it into his own language where he learns, and now he has A's and B's. But also his hockey is crazy good. So we went to Fort Myers. I flew over there. And meanwhile, I got a lot of pride for my son from how far he's come. And for those of you that know my story, is that a lot of my primal questions is, my father was a pastor, didn't go to my games a lot of times. And when I got recruited to play at higher levels, they would ask, hey, where's your parents at? I want to talk to them. And it just melted me because my parents weren't there. They were, doing church stuff. Still to this day, they still do that. But now I'm more vocal about it. So if you see me being a super dad, it's because I'm an injured little boy that does not want to not be there for my son at his greatest moments. And I'm very sensitive about that. So I go all out for my kids. I go all out for kids. May not be the perfect husband, may not be the perfect person in the world, but I damn sure will try to be the perfect dad. If you currently have money in the bank, a 401k, or even precious metals in an IRA, you may want to listen up. You're going to want to have a place where you have a guarantee on your funds. As we go into a lower interest rate environment, banks will be stressed out when the commercial real estate crisis happens. Right now, you can get a guarantee, yes, a guarantee on your principal and get a bonus. If you're younger than 65 years of age, we can utilize an insurance-based contract that has been around for over 100 years. We want to help you find a guarantee on your funds that are actually outside of banking laws, outside of securities laws. And guess what? You get a guarantee on your funds. You get a guarantee on your principal. Go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out your information, and let's just see if you qualify. Man, so this weekend we went to Fort Myers, and all the best hockey players in the state of Florida showed up. There was over 120 kids, and they're divided in 4 different teams. And Nathaniel was able to keep up with all these players. He didn't get picked to the next day, which is okay. Some of his teammates did, but not him. And I was just so proud of him that he was able to just skate just as fast as they could, hit as hard as they could, because now we have a goal to basically train hard so that he can get picked and move on to the next round. And what this does is they actually pick these. They cut the whole group in half, and then they put these teams together, and then whoever wins that team, they pick out of those 2 teams that are left, they pick the best kids in Florida, and they play like kids up north, and some northern kids play some Midwest kids, and some West Coast kids and Southwest kids, and they go into districts and nationals, and they repeat the whole process all over again. And this is how they get their Olympic development team to play on Team USA. And he didn't even make it first round, and I was so excited. I was like, now you know what it takes to go that far. Now you know what it takes, man. And guess what? I'm going to be here helping you, drilling you, coaching you. And I'm just so excited because I know that God has your back, and I know that this is what you want, and you got to put in the work. In the same way, that mindset is in your retirement, guys. The same way is that we just can't just say, oh, yeah, I got this. I got silver, and we're going to make it. I got this IRA. I got this annuity. I got this life insurance. I got this Tesla stock. I got this Google stock, and we're going to make it. That does not give you a permission to be lazy. We understand that the passive pay the penalty. The passive will pay the penalty. So I'm letting you know right now, if you have traditional IRA funds, if you have 401k funds, are you ready to pay that penalty of not doing anything now about it? Because when you retire and you got $1 million, $2 million, $500,000, whatever it is, if there is no conversion plan to convert it into a tax-free bucket, when you go to welfare, which they're changing now, they're literally changing now as we go to war. When you go to welfare, all that money that you pull out now becomes ordinary income. And I'm telling you, it is not a pretty picture, because right now in 2026, if you make over $23,400 and you take Social Security early, because many of you feel like, hey, this is not going to be here when I retire, so let me take it early. But also I have $500,000 or $1 million or 700 grand, whatever it is in my IRA that I want to live off of. Guys, I'm telling you, it's better. Hear me out on this. It's better to pull from your IRAs now before you take Social Security. I'll repeat that. Before you take Social Security, it's better to pull from your tax deferred accounts, your qualified accounts, such as your retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks, things of that nature, anything but a Roth. If it is a retirement account of some sort, other than a Roth, it's smarter to pull money out of that account now, that after you're 59 and a half, than to take Social Security early. Because if you take Social Security early, you cannot take money from your IRAs and your 401ks other than cash value life policies or Roth. You will be taxed to oblivion, and you cannot make a certain amount of income. Now, many people don't understand this because they're too busy on the war. They're too busy getting a portfolio return, 29%, 35%, 40%, whatever it is. These are all distractions, guys. I'm telling you. Your main goal right now is I want you to understand if you're wanting to retire soon, you have to. This is what works. This is what works. Is protection first and growth second. You know, I had a client call the other day. Carlos, my green money count didn't grow this year. I said, oh, I'm sorry. Did you get a 1% return, 0% return? Well, yeah. I saw the S&P did 16% last year. I said, great. What did it do this year? Well, I don't know. Okay. So maybe there's some entitlement there. Maybe we're living under a rock. Maybe we don't understand, actually, if you bought the S&P 500 when you became a client 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, whenever that date was, and now the markets are down year to date 10%, everything would have washed out as zero, possibly even negative, depending when you bought it before the 16% return last year. So what I'm saying, guys, right now is quit chasing returns. The safety of your principal is more prominent than ever. If you could get a zero rate of return when the market's down and you just beat inflation every single year, you will be ahead. I promise you that. Quit chasing returns in the red money bucket. We saw this with precious metals. So as we go into precious metals, you're going to start to see more manipulations. But people are not understanding this. We want to build these returns and build these returns. But when the bumper rails happen and we forget that, hey, maybe zero isn't a bad thing right now, we're not becoming appreciative. So if anything I say resonates with you, you can give us a call, 813-448-3446. We're adding some new staff members, so we've been pretty busy lately. And just give us some patience here because we're adding new staff members. Yeah, pretty busy. And I've been running all the appointments. I'm excited to meet all you guys. All you got to do is go to CortezWM.com, book an appointment with us. Let's just talk about your retirement. Let's talk about what you're doing. And it might be a good fit. It may not. I'm not for everybody. I totally get it. We do charge an onboarding fee. It's not a secret. And I just want you to be protected. I want you to be protected. I want you to have the ability to go to bed at night knowing that your money is safe and that you don't have to be subject to the FDIC bank bail-in scandemic crap that's going on. You don't have to fund the LGBT agenda. You don't have to fund things that go against your beliefs. And more importantly, you don't have to risk your principal to the Luciferian Wall Street banks that will literally just take your money. For those of you that don't know, if you deposit your money in a bank, you actually lost rights to your money. You only have the right to withdraw it should the bank have the liquidity. That is not a fear tactic. That is actually a legal fact. You can look it up. You can open AI it, whatever you want. You do not own the money in your bank. What we do at Green Money Solutions is we utilize fixed insurance contracts so that your principal is protected and that you have dollar for dollar reserves. I think that's more important than having a portfolio full of NVIDIA and like a few $1 million in CDs. Like that is completely dangerous. What's been really popular lately is our structured notes. And our structured notes, for those of you that don't understand what that is, I can't give investment advice, obviously, on this podcast, but I want to educate you what structured notes are and how it can benefit you. So structured notes are not guaranteed products. It's considered yellow money for those of you that know the colors of money. The yellow money system is very powerful. It is basically market-based portfolios. You are in the market with smart traders. These traders look out after your money, typically in a tactical management component. So when the market goes down, they're going to pull out generally to treasuries. And when the market rallies, they're going to buy the right sectors that basically are rallying or that have an inverse relationship in the portfolio's favor. And there's different levels. Like there's a moderate one, there's a there's a aggressive one, there's a balanced one, a growth one, and a conservative one. And sometimes the conservative one does better than a moderate or even aggressive. So last year, typical, the Nasdaq yielded over 21%, and our portfolios did 19.5%. Of course, past performance is not indicative of future results, and there's fees involved. I generally, on the managed money side, charge 1% on average. And the money managers, because I don't touch your money, the money managers that are really good at what they do, they charge anywhere from 0.5 to 0.95, depending your portfolio size. But if you want to have active money management, give us a call, 813-448-3446, and we can simply just give you some investment advice. That's all I'm going to say about smart money. But when it comes to structured notes, just a basic education. And of course, I'm not giving investment advice, I'm just letting you know how structured notes work. But structured notes are typically two forms. There's an income one and a growth one. A growth one is going to be based off like the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or a Russell 2000. And what they typically do is they say, as long as these three indices stay in this certain level, typically it's like 40% below the current price that you bought at. And it changes every single month. So this is why I'm not being definitive with numbers, but I'm just talking conceptual speaking. As long as it's above these numbers, you should get a yield, or a coupon rate is what they call it, of 25% or 27%, some as high as 30%. They have one on the Bitcoin and crypto indices that are over 30% a year. And so this pays to your account. And these are called structured notes. They're SEC registered products. And I'm not advertising a certain one. I'm just letting you know conceptually how they work. They're issued by banks. And so the companies basically hire the banks, and the banks basically issue them. And you as the investor will invest in these things. And the fee typically is a lot less. It's around 2% a year. They're typically higher than your average managed account fee. But what you need to know about structured notes is they can pay monthly. There are conservative ones that are around 10 to 11%. But the bad things about structured notes is you typically don't have access to them for a time frame, like 2 or 3 years. They're a lot less than fixed index annuities or some bonds that are out there, or CDs. And they're a great alternative because they're not FDIC stamped. They're not FDIC products. And they do have some principal buffers. I don't want to say principal protection, because if you're buying a growth one and they say, we're going to take the first 20% and the index does down 40, you're responsible for the other 20. So they're responsible of the other 20, but you're responsible for the other 20. So it can buffer and offset a lot of the risk that you're afraid of. And you're going to need these style of approaches going into 2026 as we go into summer, and 2027. There's going to be a lot of volatility, guys, a ton of volatility. The dollar keeps pumping. This is going to jack up a lot of people's retirements. If you have precious metals, IRA, please contact us, because we have solutions for you. You're going to be penalized to get out, because these guys, these gold brokers, they never had your best interests, is what I'm finding out, because they don't have to. They're not licensed advisors. They're just gold salesmen. And I don't want to name names, but they typically charge you anywhere from 20 to 30% just to sell. And they charge you a huge spread to get in. So it's terrible. Even with this massive bump in precious metals, you might just break even if you call them. But here's a problem. As the dollar continues to rise, your precious metals will go down. So the dollar recently just got pumped up. And if you're listening to this on audio, I apologize because you can't see this chart, but we got a green box right at 200 moving day and average. Basically, this green box resembles a golden cross. And typically when we get this golden cross, we see a rush in momentum. So we had a recent sell-off this past week on the dollar, as it went from basically 32.58 to 31.88. So it's coming down a little bit. So your precious metals should come back up. But this is what I call like a breather, a retracement, because typically what happens here is when it comes back down here a good, 5 to 10%, It's just taking a breather. People are selling it off, and then it's going to pump right back up. If you look at the history of this, check this out. See this wave down, and it just, boom, it popped right back up. You see this wave down, pop back up. This was, this whole thing here was actually in all of 24. So we had a massive drop of the dollar. And this is why precious metals did so well. Most gold dealers don't show you the charts of the dollar because they just want you to be distracted on the deal that they're offering you. So here we are. This is just a cycle, guys. Let's see here, February 24, the dollar started going back up. Your silver was getting ultra cheap. And then boom, back in August of 2024, the dollar started weakening like crazy. It popped back up, got a blue cross. It hit that 200-day moving average, and it bounced right back down. And so the overall trend was down on the dollar. All the way in 25, dollar was not slowly, but hemorrhaging pretty bad. And here we are. It continued to hemorrhage all the way till it hit its bottom around late February, early March, and it's been pumping up. And we had this crash in silver where you guys saw 116 all the way down to 64, 50% retracement. And that was just here. And this is a whole span of the silver crash, just on this little bump of the dollar. Check that out. I mean, if you pan out for the years, there was a spike here. Yes, a big spike here. This spike resembles a crash in silver, but look at this spike. Look at this spike. I mean, it's from a behavioral standpoint, it's fine. Back in 2010, we had a very similar spike in the dollar, and our silver went down. Then our silver started going back up as our dollar went down. So all of this, yes, the silver completely skyrocketed from this point. And so we're seeing the ebbs and flows of the market right now. They're pumping up the dollar, guys. Don't be fooled. Look at the historicals on this. They are pumping up this dollar. And we're at war. They need silver. So it's in my opinion, one way to get rid of retail investors that don't know the emotions of the markets. This is one way to shake them out. So be very, very leery, guys. If your silver or precious metals are in a retirement account, then you have no way to write it off. So that's the dollar. Also, I want to just really, really quickly show you the QQQs, which is the NASDAQ. If you currently have money in the bank, a 401k, or even precious metals in an IRA, you may want to listen up. You're going to want to have a place where you have a guarantee on your funds. As we go into a lower interest rate environment, banks will be stressed out when the commercial real estate crisis happens. Right now, you can get a guarantee, yes, a guarantee on your principal, and get a bonus. If you're younger than 65 years of age, we can utilize an insurance-based contract that has been around for over 100 years. We want to help you find a guarantee on your funds that are actually outside of banking laws, outside of securities laws. And guess what? You get a guarantee on your funds. You get a guarantee on your principal. Go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out your information, and let's just see if you qualify. We see a massive drop, and then it bought back here at 602. Right now we're at 611 on the actual QQQs. Pretty powerful drive right back up. I believe after this correction, this small little retracement we had a lot of buyers, people buy the dips, and then we're starting to see a little bit of momentum on the NASDAQ. This whole 2-week ceasefire, the bro investor said, all right, the war's getting better. We're going to get out of it. But boom, probably Monday, we'll start to see some more retracements. But here in a few hours, while I'm recording this, we'll see the futures open up, and that would dictate how possibly the markets will open tomorrow. But for those of you that are looking at the S&P, maybe you're trying to short it. I don't think it's a good time to short it right now. In my opinion, of course, this is not investment advice, because we do have a bunch of momentum coming here. And right now the S&P is at 68.16. It could go to a new high of close to 7,069.64 in a short term here. But we're just going to have to wait and see as the news reports come out. But yeah, steady growth over the past since 2024, and we're going to get these ebbs and flows. So AI has completely taken over the markets and the consumer confidence. For those of you that are interested in copper, I don't offer copper. I'm just saying you could buy the ETF COPX if you wanted to. I don't offer precious metals. However, I do encourage you to call Cornerstone Asset Metals. Their number's right here. And for those of you on audio, if you want the number on Cornerstone, that is 888-747-3309. They're a great group, faith-based. Also, let them know that I sent you, so you get some referral credit there. In addition, we want to make sure that you are buying with caution here. Silver and precious metals are going to be pretty much priced pretty good right now. Right now, we see silver at shucks. Let me see where I'm at here. Okay. Right now, we see silver at, copper at 83.52. Should be a good call option if you can get them cheap for average trade range at 336. If you could buy a call option here at 83.46 or $83 for cheap, I would do it. Of course, not investment advice. Would be a good time to grab some, because this is pretty much going to pop. I like this trade. They can't get their hands on silver, so they're going to go right to copper, and copper is such a huge part of everything that we're doing from a track, trace, control standpoint. So yes, COPX is the paper trade for copper. Typically, is one of the best ETFs. There are other ETFs. I just know that one. For those of you that want to make money off of a stock market crash, we still look at SPXS and VIXI. So right now, because the market's been coming back up, this is just the ebbs and flows, guys. This is at 35.48. For those of you who remember earlier, this puppy was really high at one point, like very high. It was over 90 back in April of 25. So if you think the market is just completely going to tank, this is one way you can hedge yourself. Now, I'm not recommending this, and buying it, hold, you will lose money. You will lose money if you buy this and hold it for a long time. This is just a trade. This is just a hedge. It's 3 times the S&P 500 on the loss. So if it loses 10%, stock market, the S&P 500, sorry, you will make 30%. If it goes up 10%, you will lose 30%. So it's 3 times the leverage. And yeah, it's very dangerous if you don't know how to utilize this. Only put 1 to 5% of your portfolio into this, unless you're trading it with options. This could be a very, very fun, risky trade, but you need a professional to do that. I don't trade clients' portfolios. I just talk about, options because I enjoy it. This is education. This is something to look at for your own personal growth and investment strategies. I will be coming out with an investment club soon that will have signals and everything. And obviously I got to go through like the legality of it and disclosures and all that, but that should be fun. That's coming up. I'm working on it this year, and stay in tune with that. But yeah, this is SPXS. I really think that this might be a good purchase possibly this week as the market continues to rise. Now, if it doesn't, this is going to spike up. So this goes up when the S&P 500 goes down. Another good trade that I've always traded, as you guys know, is SQQQ, which is shorting the NASDAQ, which is crazy. And again, this is only a hedge trade. But here we are. We're selling out. This is going down. Average trade range on this is about $4. So we could possibly see this to 61 here shortly in the next day or two as the NASDAQ continues to take off. If it doesn't, then this will spike up. But if you look at the overall trend, it's been down because the NASDAQ has been up. It would have been nice to buy this around 65. It probably will get to 65 because average trade range is over $4. So we should see this go to 63 hopefully this week. And that's when would be a good time to pick these up, in my opinion. But what's interesting about all this, guys, is that you don't really have to worry about any of this. This is for people that just want to make a trade and have fun doing it. What I love about these charts is that it tells a story. It tells a story that no matter what happens in the market, we're going to be prepared to take advantage of it. And I don't know if you're prepared to take advantage of it. I don't know if you have these tools in your back pocket. I don't know if you have this knowledge. If your advisor has this software that basically navigates where we're going to go. Do you think I care about the war or the crashing dollar or inflation? There's always an opportunity to be made. When are you going to hire someone that is going to do that for you? And guess what? It might not be in the markets. It might be on a taxation, the probate side, the legal side, the asset recovery side. Some of you don't even have an asset recovery program. From back in 08, we lost a ton of money in 08 and we couldn't recoup because we're too afraid to get back in the market or didn't have a plan in place or didn't have a green money account that index and all those gains got locked in. I'm telling you, you don't have to suffer alone. We can build wealth together. We can do it in a way where it's tax efficient for you, that you can take Social Security and not get hurt. Because if you take Social Security, what I'm saying is you will get hurt if you don't know the rules of the game. The wealthy, they're not the smartest people. They just know the rules of the game. And let me tell you, some of my wealthiest clients, they didn't make six figures. They were janitors. They were school teachers because they were diligent about saving every single month on automation, automatically. So let that be you. Let's get a plan together in place. Whether it's on the yellow money side, the green money side. We got some new updates on the green money coming soon. Right now, we still got a 29% bonus on a 14-year contract if you have over 75 grand. That one has a 1% fee. You can only access 10% a year. It is an insurance contract, so all the guarantees are backed by the insurance company itself, the strength of the insurance company. So you want to go with a company that's A-rated. Also, one of my favorite ones is going to be ones that are just off of that NASDAQ I was just saying. The NASDAQ QQQ growth index, we're actually making 100% of that index every stinking anniversary year with no bonus and no fee. Guys, I'm telling you, $100,000 is worth over $4 million in 20 years is what the projection says. Of course, I can't guarantee it. Of course, past performance is not indicative of future results, but it's a free account. It's principal protected. If the market grows, you're going to grow. All the gains that you have get locked in. For those of you that are older, these are great vehicles to put your money in to protect it and live off the interest. As long as you can live off 10% a year or less, a lot of the times your income is replenished by the growth of this index in a no-fee principal protected account so that we can produce a ladder of income, a paycheck, a monthly paycheck for you for the rest of your life without buying an income rider, without buying some sleazy insurance rider that drains your account. Guys, I'm telling you, there's so many great solutions out right there, from structured notes to precious metals to principal protection to bonuses. For those of you that lost money in 08, or maybe you lost money in silver, we can get, depending on your state, a 20+% bonus, help offset those losses. For those of you that have a lot of traditional IRAs, we can use these products to pay for your taxes. Yes, if you had $500,000, guess what? You really have $400,000. Well, we can put it in this account, get a 20% bonus. Now that 100 grand, that you just lost to the IRS. We replenished it with a bonus, and now you live off your 5-6%, and all that money is tax-free for the rest of your life, and all the growth is tax-free. That's what we want to do here. We want to protect you from what is about to come, the taxation overhaul. And all you got to do is give us a call, 813-448-3446. Utilize me and my knowledge and my open architecture to do what's best for you and for your family, and still honor the cross. Guys, I'm out of here. Here's some pictures of me and my son and flying to Fort Myers. Just a great opportunity. I encourage you to spend and love your wife and your kids and keep God first and ask him to cleanse our heart, purify us from all the sin we've done, and really seek his face. God bless you guys. Oh, also, don't forget to help sponsor us with our sponsor, Get Me Lean USA. Great program. They know our story. And we know they're awesome products. It's all made in USA, animal and plant-based peptides, guys, that will help you lose weight, keep your mind focused, keep your sleep on time, and your body right, and build some muscle. Go to getmeleanusa.com. It's all month subscription. You can cancel anytime. Great customer service and really good products. My favorite is going to be the Fit in the Lean. The Fit is like a orange juice with caffeine, and it has 4 times the photosynthesis of creatine. Very powerful stuff. A lot of my friends are on it, and I encourage you to try it out. And if you're trying to lose some belly fat, Lean is a great peptide as well. It's very safe. Not like the GLP-1s, which you can take with GLP-1s. These are amazing because you can take them with your GLP-1 and it enhances it, and it keeps your muscle while you are burning fat on whatever peptides you're doing. So it can work with pretty much any program. Of course, I'm not a doctor or anything, or I'm not giving medical advice, but I'm just saying my experience has been great, and for everyone that's on it. So God bless you guys. I'm out of here. Go to CortezWM.com. You can scan the QR code if you would like an appointment. We got a new staff that will actually call you, text you to secure a time so that we can have a 15-20 minute conversation to make sure we are a good fit and that we can help you with your concerns. With all that being said, guys, don't worry about the stock market. Things are going to happen. If you're worried, that means you are over allocated or you don't have good direction. It's time to hire counsel, do it the biblical way, hire counsel. The rich and the wealthy and the wise hire counsel so that you can benefit. God bless. I'm out of here.